Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley.
And
Will.
Okay, I've got a PlayStation 5.
Ooh, get her. Bastard.
I cancelled mine, and I'm not bitter.
Of course you're not. To be honest, you are probably playing better games than me, but we'll get to that later. So, yeah, so I got PlayStation 5, was lucky, kept my pre-order, and it arrived about midday last Thursday. So, what are the headline things? There's a new user experience, like the user interface, slightly different. I'm not sure if I like it or not. They've basically split like the two uses of the PlayStation into games and media, but quite nicely, easily accessible with the shoulder buttons, which I quite liked. The Apple TV app is on there, so I can watch Apple TV, which is quite nice. As soon as you boot up a machine, it literally goes, you're subscribed to all these things, aren't you? We'll download it now. So
Lovely.
It's like YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, everything just comes down, Disney Plus, all of that. So that's that. So instead of there being the crossbar, you've kind of got this little thing at the bottom, and that's like supposed to be like a quick switcher and stuff. It's okay, but it still involves too many things to turn the damn thing on and off. So I'm still in two minds about it. The other headline hardware feature, obviously, is the new controller, which is a fucking awesome controller. I love it.
That's what I want to know about. Give us some examples of when it's cool.
How does it feel?
Well, this is the first console in a while to come with an actual pack-in game, a genuine pack-in game called Astro's Playroom.
A showcase, I believe.
Yeah, it's kind of like... he's like the little man from the VR game that's supposed to be quite good. But basically, so one of the first things that happens is you kind of pop the top of the controller off on screen, and then lots of little men get inside, and then all of a sudden you can move the controller around, and it feels like they're rolling around inside it. So people have compared it to the Wii's HD Rumble.
Which I always thought was just some rumble, to be honest. I never figured anything special about that. But
yeah, I guess this... I don't know if that's the definitive way of explaining this, but the triggers also have force feedback on them. So there's a bit in Astro's Playroom where you can pull down this this one-armed bandit, and there is genuine resistance. You are unable to pull that trigger in at all until you've got enough money to put into the machine. So it literally just cuts it off. You can't do anything.
Oh, some klutzes are going to break that shit.
Yeah, some real meathead, no, won't it work?
Butterstuck must smash. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, I did get slightly confused though, because it was one of the first places I went to in that demo that had any interaction. And I was like, why haven't I got... Oh no, I guess I don't have enough money to put in the thing. Oh well, anyway, I went off and did a couple of the levels, all of which are quite good and take different advantages of the controller. Some of it's just really subtle, like, you could blow on the controller as well to get fans whirring. I think they did something like that with the PS Vita or the PSP.
Yeah, rings a bell. A gimmick, that bit, but...
Yeah, it is a bit gimmicky. But they did other things, like when there's rain, you just feel this slight sort of pitter-patter on the controller, and you'll generally feel some resistance, like blowing against it. It's really quite cool. As for actual proper games, not to discredit Astros, I mean proper games that cost money, I got Miles Morales and I got Demon's Souls. So Miles Morales is, first and foremost, it's just fucking excellent Spider-Man game. Spider-Man, we all love Spider-Man.
Yeah, I platinumed the original PlayStation job. Yeah. Brilliant game.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. So, Yeah, so I think I was worried. I just sneakily looked at a walkthrough because I wondered how far from finishing it I was. And I'm on like mission 12 of 16.
Oh.
Like after like probably only 6 hours or something. But I forget these games, they kind of have that exponential element to them where a lot of the missions go off into like collectathons. And I'll tell you this, if you get all of these things for me, sort of thing.
You can have a slightly different looking Spider-Man.
Yeah. As long as you don't have to chase another fucking pigeon.
Stop the pigeon. Stop the pigeon.
I may have actually chased some pigeons today.
Brilliant.
Well, you've got something in common with my dog.
Brilliant. That's good to know. But yeah, in terms of differences, it's definitely a much streamlined campaign. He's got some abilities, like he has this bioelectricity. They call it like venom power, which he can use to just make lots of lights really pretty happen, and it makes people fly very much further away. And he can also go
Beautiful
invisible.
descriptions there, Rob.
Yeah,
You've
so
described it, and yet I've got no concept of what you're talking about.
Well, like the demos, like that they put out on the briefings, give you a pretty good idea. It's all that yellow electric-y stuff that he has going on.
Very impressive visual effects, powers.
Yeah, it's like kinetic energy sort of thing that he stores up. And
that look really good when you've got ray tracing on and it's all being perfectly reflected on the floor and stuff. So, yeah, I was noticing quite a lot of that today. There are some. It does take you through some really nicely built-up areas where there's just so much going on. I think someone said this generation might not be, the era-defining graphics, but there's certainly more graphics. It's just a lot going on. So there's that, and so he's also got the stealth powers, so he can be Spider-Batman.
Spider-Bat,
pretty much.
Spider-Bat does whatever a Spider-Bat does.
I may have been singing that to myself earlier as I was swooping down and then hearing people go, "Where is he? The Spider-Man's here. Where is he?" Was getting a lot of Arkham vibes.
And then you were shouting,
"Where is he?" But I've been quite enjoying it. I actually got an achievement for being a super sneaky Spider-Bat by like just doing one of those like bases without being seen. So that was I was quite surprised at myself for that because
almost like a Batman Predator mission.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but very much so. Yeah. But that's unusual for me because I love all the fisticuffs generally. I don't do much of.
I just love the way you call it fisticuffs.
Oh yeah, fisty
spider. One must always
put up your dukes, sir.
One must always fisticuff.
I'll hit you in the Queensbridge. So as usual, I'm not really using the gadgets much. There's a much slimmer array of gadgets, but then he's got his stealth and he's got his bioelectrical powers. And there's a few missions where you play as Miles, and there's some different suits. And it's pretty much business as usual. They've redressed the city in Christmas colours. It very much takes place in winter, which is appropriate. But there's a lot more people on the streets than in real life.
Right. Yeah, I see your point.
Ironically, if they remade sort of like the PlayStation 1 era, which only have about 5 or 10 people on the whole street, they would be quite accurate to our times.
Slow down,
But it's a shame it's not set in LA because, it would be quite nice to have like a Nakatomi Plaza sort of Easter egg.
Yeah, but then you go out of downtown and he's fucked, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, well, we can use lampposts, as we discovered from playing the first game. It's just lots
of trees.
That.
Yeah, Central Park was amazing.
I'm waving my arms.
I love Central Park in the first game because it answered that question. What happens when the buildings run out? Trees! Lampposts!
That's it.
Enemies.
That's how you do it. I'd recommend it. I mean, you can buy this game on PlayStation 4 and it'd still be a damn good game.
Yeah.
But you might feel slightly I don't mind paying 50 quid for it because it feels so shiny and new and on a new console. But I don't think there's 50 quid a game there.
No, to me, I'm hoping I'll pick up a PS5 next year. It'll be quite interesting to see if we get a Red Ring of Death equivalent comes out and I manage to dodge a bullet, or whether I'm just slow to adopt. But yeah, I'm hoping for late spring to be picking up, and at that point, I reckon Miles Morales will be dropped to around the 20 quid mark, which feels like a worthwhile punt.
Cool. Oh, are you saying you're talking about avoiding the hazards of being an early adopter?
Look, this is my way of justifying it. I couldn't get in day one, so I'm going to say, well, I was sensible and I waited for day 2 to make sure that the technological issues had been resolved.
Yeah, Will don't want to be no
bullshit. It is bullshit.
Will don't want to be no pre-alpha adopter. No.
Yeah, that's it. Why should I do their testing for them, Rob?
Exactly. Apparently, the new Baldur's Gate 3 patch, you have to delete your save game.
Oh.
Anyway, so I got Demon's Souls as well. This was kind of a thing where I felt pressured to experience this because everyone was raving about it. And 70 quid, it's quite a harsh price to pay for such a thing. But I figured if there was going to be any chance ever of me getting into these sorts of games, it'd be when I feel like, oh fuck, I should probably play that because, you know, it's like the only other game I've got.
Yeah, but
and so I
think that, you know, as many CEOs could probably attest to, it's quite a high price for a pain, especially when you're paying for it. You know,
yeah, I mean, it is utter misery. It's absolute 100% the most miserable experience I've ever had playing a video game.
Well, that's why I got into games, certainly. Who wants fun?
But don't you feel alive, though, with the constant terror?
I kind of get it. I think it's just like an elitist thing, isn't it? Just about...
No, it's...
Just so that you can sort of look down on other games and go, but I play...
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just they went to go for the old school... You know how you got the side-scrolling games where you had to start at the start of the level? Because we've all been spoilt with checkpoints and gratuitous saves over the years, and these Souls games are basically meant to re-educate the youngins to paraphrase Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man, to educate them in the ways of loss and pain.
You shouldn't have to Google how to level up.
Well,
you shouldn't have to do that.
Back in that day, there was no Google. Why should I have
to do that? That's ridiculous.
Well, back in the video game day, there was no Google. You didn't level up.
So they're just like, well, we're just going to include what you don't have to Google, what you won't need to Google. What the fuck?
Look, honestly, some people enjoy mysterious, difficult shit. I enjoy other things.
You're waiting for Ratchet and Clank.
So I know I won't be touching that. I've tried Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne, and they all made me give up within about an hour or two, just going, this isn't me. Rob, you've spent your 70 quid. How much more time do you think you're going to spend on this game before you go, well, that's going to make a lovely coaster?
Over the course of my life?
Yeah.
I reckon, right, I'm probably going to chip away at it, yeah, because there's not much coming out on PlayStation 5 for a while. And I'm going to feel like that's just like going to be like a fucking over-glorified...
There's a massive statement in that. Right, so nothing coming out on PlayStation 5, just things like Cyberpunk and Valhalla's just come out and Watch Dogs Legion. Then they're not working with Immortals Phoenix Rising on the same day as Cyberpunk. You're right. It's best to just stick to a game you're not really enjoying because rah.
Yeah, I'm like doing this to spite myself.
Yes,
but the thing is, right?
Clearly are.
I do this in lots of different ways. But like, I'm going to be playing everything else on the new computer. Face it, right? Because I was going to get Watch Dogs, but that Ubisoft thing that you kind of highlighted on my attention is too much of a ridiculous deal.
So let's talk about this new computer, because a lot of people would be assuming that this PS5 would be your new computer. Tell us, Rob. What are you up to?
Well, I've ordered an Alienware so that I can play Cyberpunk with ray tracing in 4K.
And he bought a PS4 for.
You just waited on PS5.
He bought a PS5 for shits and giggles.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be able to. It drove me mad when I went, oh no, I'm not going to play GTA 5 on Xbox because the PC version will be better. This was, I'm not going to play Cyberpunk on PS5 because the PS5 version will be cheaper. It's a different paradigm.
Well, so I will admit that I'm also purchasing a PC, and this to my shame, I sent the specs of mine, and Rob said, "Well, actually, they're pretty much identical, but yours has got a better processor, but mine's got slightly more RAM, so it's kind of much of a muchness." So I did the only sensible thing I could and pushed for the extra 16 gig of RAM, just so my machine is slightly better than yours, Rob. If I can't have my PlayStation 5, I'm having a better PC than you.
And you wonder why they call it PC Master Race.
If the recently updated spec for Cyberpunk 2077 had one component more than what I had ordered, I would be on the phone to Alienware. The system I have bought is no more and no less a machine to play Cyberpunk on.
Yeah, and mine's that, but slightly better than yours.
Well, yes, but if it will make any difference, it will annoy me.
So,
but anyway, let
me get this straight. So basically, Rob, your PC will have a sticker of Cyberpunk 2077 on it, and it'll be amazing. It'll be set.
Stickers,
Wheels will have Cyberpunk 2077, but caressed by Keanu Reeves. He comes and pours a beer for you for a week and stuff.
Oh. Sorry, it's not so much as Keanu Reeves doing it, just the idea of the beer.
No, I do actually have loads of Cyberpunk stickers from buying a T-shirt from CD Projekt
a few
months back. So yeah, I will probably adorn it with some of those, as I have other random items in my flat. But anyway, I am set to become PC Master Race, but at the moment I am PS5 Race. It's a troubling term, isn't it? And
it's not about race, Rob.
No,
snobbery.
It's just about being able to keep the pre-order, I suppose. But whatever. What else did I want to make a point of?
Well, you were talking about the Ubisoft thing. I was getting there. So, the one thing that I did do on the PlayStation 5 as well was check out its backwards compatibility, because I'd kind of almost finished the final DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and literally it was simple as I had PlayStation Plus anyway, because me and you did some multiplayer, Will. Yep.
Tsushima.
Yeah.
So I thought they do give you the option to transfer everything from your PlayStation 4 over.
Yeah, cloud save and stuff as well.
Yeah, but I wanted to play it that day, and I'd heard it does take forever to move it over. So I just decided to just downloaded Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the DLCs, which did take a little while, a couple of hours.
They're big games.
But I could still use it in the meantime. And so I got that, and I just downloaded my saves that had synced with the cloud.
Okay.
And I was off to the races.
So this leads me to a fairly key question. One of the big selling points, both from Sony and Microsoft. I think Sony pushed really around the hard drive and talked about the amazing architecture, but my understanding is load times are much of a muchness between the Series X and the PS5. But when I played Odyssey, to me, the load times were one of the most painful things. If you fast travelled, you'd go and maybe pop the kettle on, curl out quite a big one, all of that stuff before it had reloaded. How are the load times on Odyssey, which is a beast of a loader on the PS5?
Not a lot better, to be honest with you.
That wasn't what you were going to say.
I know, I was a bit disappointed.
No, but it's quite Odyssey. But the thing is, right, in Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which was built especially for the PlayStation 5, there is no loading at all.
Yeah. So it's about the optimization, presumably, but I would have expected Odyssey to be one of those games that's basically ready to rock on the new gen.
Yeah.
And the initial
the current gen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The initial load when it does that tiresome searching for all the other things which flogged you, that's quicker.
Okay.
I noticed that being quicker, and also the initial load was a bit brisker.
Yeah.
But honestly, it wasn't like, I'm alive again, like I was expecting.
Yeah.
It was closer to what it was before, like a noticeable, okay, I'll go for a piss now, I'll put the kettle on.
Roger that.
It was still like that. So I think it requires some optimisation at Ubisoft's end, because if it can be done for Spider-Man, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Because that city that it loads in that is vast and far more detailed than like Atlantis in Odyssey.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I was quite glad, I have to say. I was very glad that I did actually get through all of that DLC, because each of those was like a new area that you basically go to heaven and hell and then Atlantis in the Greek telling of it.
Yeah.
And I felt that it gave quite a satisfying finale to the stuff that they were starting to set up a bit in the main Odyssey game.
Gotcha.
With the Atlanteans and the mythical side of the game. So and also it goes quite heavily into the present day stuff, which, as a dogged enthusiast of this series who has played every single game, I was quite pleased with how that all kind of turned out.
I always do my best to get straight back in that fucking Animus.
Well, they have relegate. They have basically had the decency now. Yeah, so if you really are invested in that stuff, do the DLC. So I'm glad I did that.
Yep.
Yeah, you've been on the cutting edge of the franchise, haven't you, with Valhalla?
Yeah, so that leads on to what you were saying about Ubisoft. So before I go on to Valhalla, my PS4 swan song to an extent, because I don't think I'll be picking up the PS4 for anything new for a little while anyway. I picked up Watch Dogs Legion on the day of release, and I finished that, and I had a bloody good time with it, to be fair. It was fun. To me, it's a solid 7, very much. The mechanism about being able to recruit anyone started off being brilliant, particularly playing it on permadeath, so if your recruit gets killed, that's it. Got to find a new one, and you got close to some of them. Mm. The one I completed it with was a female Irish black assassin called Janice, who was in her 50s and had massive hair and was very, very cool. She was a professional hitman, or hit person, awesome. Down as a hitman. No, there we go, sex, disgraceful.
No, hitman.
Yes. Yeah. But
it's a generic
if she was a milkman, she wouldn't be a milkman.
Well, you don't get milk ladies.
She'd be a
that just
dairy
sounds
maid.
Weird.
Shouldn't she be a killing maid? Sorry, I digress. But no, so I lost one of my favourite characters fairly early on after spending a few missions with them, and they died in a blaze of glory. It was so annoying. So there was this mission where I had to break into an enemy area and steal a truck full of weapons and destroy it. So my plan was to, I snuck in there, took out a few guards, took out this automated turret, put it on standby, opened up the doors, legged it from cover using my invisibility cloak for as long as it could hold out. They were aware just as I was climbing in the van. I took it, got in the van, panicked, drove into an exploding barrel and completed the mission by destroying the truckload of weapons, but unfortunately with me in it. Oh. So one of my preferred operatives, who was a hacker, I believe, pro hacker, so had lots of cool skills, went down that way. And you do get a bit attached, particularly to some of the cooler ones, and some of them it's like, oh God, you speak in such an annoying fashion, I'm going to drive you into an explosive barrel.
Well, it's nice that you can progress and be victorious, and also have player fatality at the same time. If there's really nice little mechanisms, and I particularly having spent a lot of my career in London, found zipping around London. I mean, driving over Tower Bridge on a stolen motorbike, and one of the radio stations playing Skinner and Badil and the Lightning Seeds, Three Lions, was just a wonderfully absurd moment.
And then you've got one of the radio channels is a podcast channel, and one of the hosts, I don't know if you guys will be familiar with the Bugle podcast, was Andy Zaltzman, although it's just Andy in there, and Alice, so from Bugle podcast and lots of BBC comedy, so there's the Bug podcast in there.
Okay.
And there's lots of all sorts of sort of British podcasters, the soundtrack's distinctly British. I mean, there's all of the various musical subcultures. I enjoyed the indie radio station particularly. But there was a very distinctly British twist on a lot of it, and then we've got an English Assassin's Creed lined up. But yeah, Watch Dogs is fun. I don't know whether it was worth the full price. I think to me it was, because it gave me another open world I needed at a time where the evenings are closing in. I think I'll probably revisit it on PC at highest graphic settings, all of that stuff, when the multiplayer's released. So actually, my recommendation of Watch Dogs is Watch Dogs 1 and 2 I enjoyed most, dropping into the multiplayer elements, hacking a stranger online. The multiplayer has not yet been released, and it's been put back again. It was going to be in December. I've just heard today that that's being delayed till next year. Now, to me, part of the fun in a Watch Dogs game is just between missions, kind of going, oh, there's a random I can hack and play hide and seek with, and just laugh my arse off as I'm hiding in a bush and they're getting attacked by the police that I call them, and all of that stuff. So that's a thing I think I will go back to. I didn't do a lot of the side content. I just played through the main missions, and I will probably have another crack at it one day on PC, which leads me on. So, I paid full price for that on the PlayStation, but I since discovered, and it was a thing that people already knew about, presumably, but particularly on PC, is the Ubisoft Plus offering, which is a Netflix of Ubisoft. It's £12.99 a month. You've got pretty much the full recent Ubisoft catalogue. So you've got all of the Far Cry games, for example, every single one, and Far Cry 6 will appear on this platform the moment it comes out. You've got the Assassin's Creed catalogue, which has led me on to playing Valhalla. Legion is already on there. Now, if you're likely to pay £50 a month for a new Ubisoft game over the next 3 months, for example, if you're going to play Valhalla, if you're going to play Watch Dogs, if you're going to play Far Cry 6, if you're going to play Immortals Phoenix Rising, then £13 a month for the next few months feels like a bit of a bargain, because then you can stop.
It's an absolute no-brainer. You know what? And I think I'm going to probably, even though like I probably will be primarily playing Cyberpunk, I ideally want to play Valhalla. And I think I will probably get it when I get my new computer, just because I want to see all of the bright and shiny things on it.
Well, I got it before.
I don't think I will probably play them as a main focus until I'm quite a way into Cyberpunk or finished with it.
I think that's reasonable. Two major games is a difficult one. It's better. I would go with something like Watch Dogs, which is a much smaller game and has a bit more silliness to it potentially. But so what I've done is I've gone ahead with it. So I've got my new PC on order as well. The GTX 3080 graphics cards are like unicorn poo at the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully mine will be arriving next week. We will see. But in the meantime, I thought, no, I'm going to play Valhalla, and I'm going to play it on my lower mid-range gaming PC, which is actually handling it pretty well. I would say it's sitting just above my PS4.
So that you can appreciate the difference.
Absolutely. So I looked at what the graphical settings. I'm running in 1080p. I'm running in, straight HD.
Nice.
I'm not in 4K. I'm keeping above 30 frames a second, and I'm on the high quality graphics settings. It feels fine. Feels pretty good on a monitor. The gameplay itself, it runs smoothly, no bugs. I'm absolutely happy there. The game itself, I think, once again, as they do with every Assassin's Creed, or have done with every Assassin's Creed recently, they've taken a winning formula and refined it further. So it plays more like Odyssey than anything else. However, it plays also an awful lot like Ghosts of Tsushima and the Dark Souls games on the combat side, where parrying and dodging, you have an energy meter. So if you parry and dodge too many times, you need to do light. Yes, but your landing light attacks build your stamina back up.
Oh, nice.
But your energy to build, your energy doesn't auto-regenerate like it does in most Assassin's Creed games. Get out of trouble and do that. You can carry a certain amount of ration packs, call it healing potions, right? But you can recover energy on a perfect parry and counter-attack. So if you're carrying a shield, two weapons. If you're carrying a shield, if you parry the opponent's attack when it flashes gold, you get the chance to do a stun attack, which gives you some gloriously brutal executions, and that will give you back a bit of health. So it's encouraging the violence.
That sounds a bit like Bloodborne's mechanic, where you can't just block. because your stamina goes down, and it encourages you, it forces you to be offensive. You could swear at the computer if you want.
Offensive parrying.
Yeah.
So it's more like Ghost of Tsushima, where a perfect parry allows you almost every time, not a kill, but a massive amount of counter-attack damage, and in this case, quite often, a kill. So it plays like Assassin's Creed very much in that the various powers you get, but it's not through a levelling up system, it's through discovering skill books. But I would say the biggest refinement, obviously the change in setting and the Vikings is cool stuff, and the change to a more aggressive fighting style, although there's still assassination moments. Really, it's a case of balls out, bearsark, screaming, run at the bastards approach will win the day.
Wicked.
I'm still playing assassin damage. I'm playing... the assassin build gives you more of a light, rapid fighter, if you see what I mean. A skirmisher build rather than a tank build is probably the best way. So I'm...
Even though I went assassin and took all your advice and played on hard...
Yeah.
In Odyssey, I still basically roamed around killing every fucker I saw.
Oh, you do that. It's just whether you do it to their face or not. Is the question, isn't it?
I mean, there were times when I'd like to make use of that like long range assassin type stuff. Is that still in it? Sort of the being able to assassinate from range, or is it?
Yeah, you got a bow.
Oh, okay. Not the one I'm thinking about.
Oh, the one you can jump between and stab them in the back, chaining up to 5 or 6. No, the closest I've got is you can assassinate someone from behind and throw an axe at someone else to get a twin. I haven't improved on that. I suspect if I find the next skill book for that skill, it'll probably let me throw 2 axes or something, but we will see. The biggest refinement,
It's not all revealed to you though.
No.
At the start, like where you can go.
No, you can't see the trees. It's just a load of blanks. You find a book and it teaches you a thing. If you find the second book on the subject, it improves that skill, for example.
Okay. I don't. Some people have complained about that, but I actually don't mind.
It's just different. Right, I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, I when I look at progression in games, I'm always looking at what the next thing will do, not where it will lead me. Because I want to know, is that actually for my play style? I don't want to have to play in a certain play style because that thing at the end of it, you know what I mean?
Okay, so what I would say, and before I'll then get on to the point I was trying to cover, but
sorry,
it's not a loot dropper, this one. So in Odyssey and in Origins, virtually every enemy dropped you a new weapon or a loot type. During my 35 or so hours in the game so far, I think I've picked up maybe 6 or 7 different weapons. Right, I've got a couple of axes,
that's a
I've got
relief.
a falchion, and the armour sets are similar. There's only a handful of armour sets, and what you're doing is you're collecting resources to improve them. So you pick a style, because really you're picking one armour set and one weapon, or 2 weapons, to invest in throughout the game. Now, obviously, you should have enough that you could swap between sword and spear. I started off with axe and shield, and I've actually moved to a saex, which is an old Eastern English small sword, like heavy dagger, dirk type setup. In fact, there's 3 of them on the Essex coat of arms.
Right.
The sort of Saracen style.
I got one.
Yeah. Wicked.
So I got my sax. But what the thing that's entertaining me the most and enjoying the most. So side quests, there aren't really any as such. But what you encounter are mysteries. It's a bit more like what you encountered in Red Dead 2. As an example, you'd just be wandering through the wilderness. You get a little icon just saying there's something here, and sometimes it'll be my favourite kind of side quest, which is the flighting, which is basically Viking boast rap battles, where they give you a line and then you get a choice of 3 lines to go back with, and it's the most appropriate rhyming in tempo insult.
Oh, brilliant!
It's like I don't know. I'm so brave, I could never look bad. And then you pick a line that says, no one goes near you because your breath's so bad, or something like that. That was a terrible example.
No, that's great though. Is this how you encounter a certain Sir Flint of Braintree?
I haven't made it down to Essex yet, but there's a monk that is screaming "Smack my bishop" just outside of Braintree. Which nice. And I need to level up. I only need to push up a little bit before I'm hard enough to go to that area. So it's where I'm going to head next. But yes, I want to go down. But yeah, there's a Keith Flint tribute in there, haunting around Braintree. And I've been stomping around the area where I live at the moment. So, Dunwich, which is one of my nearest bits of beach. I besieged a fortress just there. I've been up to Norwich, or Norwich, or something, which is on the map, because all the old English names. I've crossed I've swum my horse across the River Waveney, which is just 2 miles north of me. It's mad. So in the last game, I stomped around London. Now I'm stomping around all of East Anglia and killing their kings.
You know what? It took me. It's only until now that I've made the connection that both of these Ubisoft games coming out, these giant fucking AAA games, are both based in.
We may be locked down, but at least we can wander England.
Yep.
But yeah, the side quests are really cool because really quite often you get little mysteries. So it's just little stories. So a couple that I found today as an example, you get up to this blue icon. There's an old blind dude just saying, "Is that you, Rose? Is that you? Is that my daughter?" And obviously I'm female Viking Ivor. And she eventually says yes, and she sits down and she helps him move some boxes, and then tells the story of how he met his mother, and it involved them doing some dirty things in a cow shed, and then giving milk to the squire and running away with a horse, and you end up. And she just tells a lovely story. And you walk away, mission completed, bonus points. Another one, you're just down by this lake and you see this little girl going, "Where are you, Walter? Where are you? Oh, my brother Walter was turned into a fish by a goblin. Help me." She doesn't actually say anything, but you get the fishing line out and you catch a fish. She goes, "No, that's not him. He's got brown eyes." Catch another fish, and this lad runs out from the bush going, "Ha ha, we tricked this idiot stranger into catching our fish for us."
Wicked.
But none of the side quests end up putting a little marker in your quest log saying, "Go and fetch 3 cows for this village," or "Wander around the world and come back here," with the exception of one where I need to go back because he wanted an eel for his stew and I didn't happen to have any eels, and I probably could have found a place nearby to get them. Every single one you basically resolve on site, and it's cracking.
Yeah,
nice.
No, that's good. I feel that all seems like a massive quality of life improvement, both the skill stuff and what you're saying about the quest system, because I mean, it just stops it being a fucking box you got to tick, don't it? Like, and you can just kind of get on, and it doesn't feel like such an overwhelming, like fucking inventory management as well. Like, the fact,
that's
like,
gone.
in the whole of Odyssey, I wore 3 suits of armour for most of it.
Yep.
And
I'm still in the armour I started in 36 hours ago.
Huh?
I'm still in the armour I was given 36 hours ago at the start, and it's fine.
Fucking hell.
Nice.
I've upgraded it, but it's fine. It's my armour, and it will be till the end.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think they proved in Odyssey to themselves that was fine. Yeah. It was kind of frustrating that there was like about 1,000 bits of warrior armour and only 3 bits of assassin armour.
Totally.
But it didn't make the game any worse. You still had plenty of ways to upgrade yourself. And you weren't. And I like the idea of not having to constantly manufacture everything I pick up because it's not gold.
Yeah. I'll tell you another little thing that really delighted me on the Ubisoft games on the PC is my PS4 controller with no additional enhancements just works. So I plug
that's
in.
interesting.
So it has, it doesn't try and pretend it's an Xbox controller. The PS5 controller works with the Ubisoft games on PC. PS4 controller, possibly the 5 as well.
Oh wow!
Which means I can play with the controller I'm most comfortable with on those games, and that's a big win for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I've got a Xbox One that come with my Oculus.
Yeah, but the buttons are the wrong way up, aren't they? If you're used to the PlayStation ones.
Yeah.
It's like driving someone else's car.
Yeah, I know. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm in such a dilemma, really. I think Watch Dogs is probably going to be the one that gets relegated to later next year.
Well, the other option, Rob, to be honest, if you go for the Ubisoft one, Immortals Phoenix Rising, something totally new on the franchise, might be a good punt. That's out on the 10th of December, same day as Cyberpunk. I think I may pick it up, but I'm not certain I can do Watch Dogs, then Odyssey, then Phoenix Rising. I will be doing Cyberpunk at some point, but then I'm going to need some sort of pure break from RPG-esque open world. I'm going to need something a bit
hacky slashy,
more killy. Yeah, that's it.
And what's his name? Was it Jack and Daxter, or whatever it was, or that's not coming out for a little while? Is it Jack and Daxter, or was it?
Oh, Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank. That's it. Sorry.
Oh, that'll be PS5 only.
I might just rotate, for the rest of the year. But the only thing that's coming out next year that's got a date on it is Prince of Persia remake.
Okay. Yeah, which is also in the Ubisoft Plus.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that gets bundled in. That's in the Ubi Plus. But actually, I think there's a date of May now against Far Cry 6. Now, I would happily do that because although it's an open world, it's a shoot 'em up.
Yeah,
so
I think
much,
I'm just going to
so
rotate.
Much on that one pass, and then I'll get 6 months of that. And when I'm sick of Ubisoft games, I should have a backlog of other delights. So
it is interesting, isn't it, how Ubisoft have adopted the kind of Game Pass element as well. It seems to be like that's the new model that a lot of people are going for. It's the Netflix thing, isn't it? People realise, we're going to put these games on there. You're not going to pay. We're not going to get the money in initially per item that we would get from selling like a box copy or a digital copy. But over time, people will go, well, I'm only paying a couple of quid.
I'll just keep it.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, you've got it for 4 years. Whereas they would only have bought maybe 5 games. So
they're going to make 150. If I keep it up for the year, they're going to make 150 quid out of me. And if I haven't really noticed and I've only paid 3 games, they've got 50 quid a game from me.
Yeah.
So it's about... Yeah, you're absolutely right. If people kind of go, I won't cancel it, there's something coming out in a couple of months that I want to pay. And then suddenly drop 26 quid to not use it.
Exactly.
It's
what happens with me with Netflix.
Move.
I've thought about bidding it off a few times for a little bit, but I've kind of gone, but I do go back on there and watch odd bits and pieces. And
also, they're not paying the commission, right? They're not paying commission to the reseller.
No.
They're not paying it into CD keys or Amazon who've sold it. It's their profit purely.
I just think I'm going to end up just rotating because Cyberpunk is a game that I've been waiting for so long, and it's not a game that I'm going to want to rush through in the slightest.
Yeah.
Reports are coming out that it's got 200 hours on it if you just take your time and, look in every little corner. And I'm just not... I don't want to wait that long to play Valhalla. I'm just going to have, different games for different days of the week, I think, for the next... until something comes out at the end of next year for the PlayStation 5.
I hate to say it, it's going to become like your Monster Hunter, Rob. It's going to suck you in and no one's going to see you again.
Probably will. They're adding DLC and multiplayer to it as well.
I think that's the trouble with Cyberpunk. If you go by Witcher 3, after 6 months it was a substantially better game than it was on release. And that's my nervousness here. If they continue to do the same and actually look and make it a better game after 6 months, am I not better off waiting? And
you'll have it fairly well. What apart
I'm probably
from
not going to be able to wait.
Game, no, I'm not going to be able to wait. I've already got the fucking code. Well, I don't know if I have the code yet, but I have the pre-order.
Yeah,
I've literally just got.
You picked that up, and I found a deal which I wish I'd bought at the time.
It's pretty ridiculous.
In hindsight, I wasn't expecting a PC.
I kind of think...
Well, I wasn't. Neither was I, to be honest.
I kind of think, you might be right, but maybe that's the reason for the delay. To give it the kind of...
To get it to that level of polish.
Because they would have rushed it out and they would have released it earlier, and then you would have had, say, 3 months or whatever of patches and little bits that they kind of, would have had to then try and fix into the game. So maybe they're doing it now.
Sounds absolutely mad.
So a bit of pain now.
That'd be nice.
And then a much more polished product when it comes out.
And then we've got Baldur's Gate coming up, which is...
that's not coming out for... That's not for until the end of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I reckon about a year in early access. But if you stack all of these games back to back and allow us out of fucking lockdown... I must admit, the fact that I've put 36 hours into Assassin's Creed, and I'm not quite certain when I played it, but it doesn't feel like much more than a week and a half ago. It's a little bit alarming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I was quite surprised to get the feeling that I'd already finished Spider-Man, having only had the PlayStation since Thursday. So, but then I have had a week off, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm kind of glad that I didn't... Because I was going to get Watch Dogs, but I'm kind of glad that I've had a chance to try something. I don't expect I will be playing Demon's Souls in a serious, concerned way, for the foreseeable. But I quite like having it there as just this sort of...
A prime example of the technical masterpiece of, animation, graphics, frame rate, everything.
I've seen videos of it. It looks beautiful, but fuck that.
It is stunning. And I managed to get past the first boss and level up last
It's kind
night.
of like...
It's just a shame.
It's kind of like going to a gallery and, admiring the paintings, but also you're in, like, the Last Crusade pit trying to get to the knight, so you have to, like, dodge all the traps and stuff whilst admiring the Van Gogh.
Yeah, I don't feel any more... I don't feel any more powerful than I was. It's such an incremental amount of power that I've managed to increase. You still will get murdered by the dragon that fills the bridge with flames.
That's it. I'm too old and too slow and too impatient to deal with that shit. That's the long and the short for me.
Speaking of which, I will get through my games at some point, although I have noticed that Ghost of Tsushima is now £39.04 on PSN.
Marcus, do it. And
it's already in my basket.
Do it, because if you can join us on Legends mode, we can start doing some of the brawl. There's a 4-player version. If we can find one more buddy, we can do some proper teamwork Legends shit.
Yeah.
Pull that trigger, mate.
The PlayStation PSN Black Friday sales now on.
So Legends, actually, is something that we have had a go on, isn't it, Rob? So we played together.
Nice.
It's so long ago, but it's since we last recorded, Ghost of Tsushima 3 DLC came out, which is the multiplayer mode that nobody, so far as I'm aware, was ever meant to even be a thing. It just was announced and then dropped. This entire new mode that is beautifully executed, not a microtransaction in sight, which is what the cynics would normally say is why they put it. No sign of that. It's just two modes, essentially. You get the 2-player story co-op, which is really, really cool and involves teamwork and coordination and timing, and as the difficulty ramps up, quite a bit of swearing. And then there's the 4-player version, which is kind of a base defense. You'll have 3 places to defend against ever-increasing waves of enemies. Yeah, totally that. And again, it's about coordination, and particularly as you push up through the difficulties, which you do to build up the experience. I think the ability to speak and coordinate would make things much, much easier, and also there are different role types. You get kind of an assassin, an archer, a samurai, and a ronin who has healing capabilities. Now, when Rob and I were playing on the lower levels, the ronin's special ability was essentially useless. But when you get up to the point when there's 4 of you on hard battles, and the ronin's ability is to resurrect everyone, then suddenly it all becomes quite useful.
I didn't know anything about the classes, but Ghost of Tsushima, I kind of wanted to play as the ronin. I kind of wanted to be a Ronin class. So having you say that, it almost feels...
You are essentially Ronin. The Ghost of Tsushima is essentially a Ronin. I mean, the story is magnificent, Marcus, and you, I'm certain, would absolutely adore it. And at £33, just pull that fucking trigger, mate, and you'll have the time of your life.
£39. I don't know why it's 4 pence. I don't know what the 4 pence is for. But, it's 29%.
That's the multiplayer. That's for each person on the multiplayer.
No, I'm gonna get it.
Don't forget, is that on PSN?
Yep, I'm looking at it now.
Don't forget, you can go onto CD Keys, for example, and buy a £30 voucher, normally for £25.
Oh yes, indeed.
So buy your credit and then pay the difference, and you'll save further, which will knock it down to maybe 26 quid. At which point, just pull that trigger. So always, dear listener, do remember, if you're going to buy PSN games, buy the credit for a third party.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I might do that for my PlayStation Plus membership, because it seemed very convenient.
There's a Black Friday deal on it, Rob, at the moment. You might as well just snag a year on the Black Friday deals right now. Have a look.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
because the other...
I'm coming up to renewing mine. I kind of do that every year.
You might as well do it now. You won't find it cheaper. You might as well do it at this point because it stacks.
Yeah, one of the cool things, another cool thing about the PS5 when I got it was that it had all the... it had that PlayStation Plus collection thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just realised, Rob. Have you not downloaded and played the shit out of Bugsnax?
I have got it. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, Rob, you disappoint me.
Because that was the free game of the month. Oh, well, I had Astrobot and Spider-Man and Demon's Souls, so I've had quite a lot there to get on with.
You've added it to your basket, though, so you can give us the full Bugsnax report at some point, yeah?
Yeah, I'll definitely have a look at it before next time. But I also downloaded Bloodborne, the motorbike one. What's that?
Road Rash?
Zombies.
Oh,
Zombies and
Days Gone.
motorbikes. There we go. That highly memorable
One of my
name.
platinums from last year. This year.
Yep.
Bloody hell. This year's been long.
I got Ratchet and Clank as well, because you keep giving me shit about not playing that.
Fucking brilliant game.
And what was it? Something else as well. But yeah, like it was just great, because big handful of the, iconic PlayStation
Okay, Rob,
titles.
I'll tell you what. There's your
available to
palate
download.
cleanser. There's your palate cleanser. I challenge you. Cyberpunk, palate cleanse with Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, total worlds apart. You're not immersing in two open worlds, and it's a cracking game. Give it a go for me. Do it for me, Rob. Do it for me. Go on, please. I'm begging you.
Maybe. Valhalla was going to be my palate cleanser. I thought that would be a very
What a
stark
sprawling open world.
opposite.
Nah.
Yeah, but it's like Vikings and stuff.
Yeah, but
and it's
that's
not
kind of like
they're
going,
both
you
too
know
big.
what? I've eaten burgers.
There aren't any cars.
Now, you want a big story and a simple story. Ratchet and Clank is a simple, essentially 3D platform shooty beat 'em up puzzler, which will sit nicely with an open world, uber violent RPG. Because what you're really suggesting is that you'd run two open world, uber violent RPGs in parallel. You're fucked. Don't do it, man.
Yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe I'll try. It's all there. It's all there for the taking.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if I get this 25% off my 12-month subscription.
Is it there?
I've already got a bunch of credit.
Yeah.
I've already got a bunch of credit here, so...
yeah, you use credit to
25
buy...
off 12
so you buy
months.
the cheap PlayStation Plus membership off PlayStation Plus, but using the credit from the cheap credit deal, and suddenly everything's cheaper. Happy days.
Well, it's just... I don't think I'm going to use my credit on much else that I've got.
Yeah.
I've got about 40 quid credit already.
I must admit, I might as well get my month with the PlayStation Plus, because I normally renew in December at full price because I've not been paying attention. So, time to rectify that bastard.
Thing is, as well, there is quite a strong online component to Demon's Souls, actually. That might actually help me get through some of it, because I have got some friends at work and stuff who have got it.
Yeah.
And I've got to the point now where I can beam people in to help me in difficult parts.
Wicked.
Isn't that Star Trek?
But no, you
Is it kind of like the invading
and
each other's game
you get
thing?
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah,
element. You
do
can
it.
basically summon someone and they can choose to come in and help, or they can kind of go, fuck you, I'm going to invade you instead. So basically, you're calling on a spirit for assistance, and it could be benevolent or malevolent.
Oh, okay.
And I can't have drunk that much because I managed to say that successfully.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know how you actually get to do it with a specific person. Guess you form a party maybe and do it through that. Literally
no idea.
everything in this game is cryptic as fuck anyway, so hopefully someone who's got it can help me out. Also, you get the little messages on the ground that can be quite amusing sometimes.
It's funny, isn't
They'll
it?
be like...
Because Demon's Souls, Dark Souls is a Japanese take on kind of a Western type game. And yet we've been playing Ghost of Tsushima recently, which is very much a Western take on a Japanese game, which apparently has been exceptionally popular in Japan, which speaks volumes.
It's
actually,
crazy
it's a
how they
brilliantly
work
done game.
sometimes.
Yeah, but the combat in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm doing my usual thing. That kind of game, I feel very comfortable playing on hardest difficulty, despite things like Demon's Souls and Dark Souls making me cry, and being a massive wuss. I'm playing with both combat and stealth and exploration on hardest difficulty in Valhalla, and I'm not having a hard time of it, because Ghost of Tsushima's hard mode taught me to parry. And it might be that I could go, and it may be that I could go back to Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, having learnt to parry quite a bit, and find it's not that bad. But you know what? Not certain I can be bothered.
It's leveling up though, isn't it? It's your gaming elements, things that you don't use as much.
Yeah.
Whereas games like the Souls games, they're designed to push that to the limit. They are kind of extreme in a way.
The thing is, the combat's not even that fun. I've got a spell that I do, and that just does the spell until you run out of mana. And then you've got an attack, and then a heavy attack that takes ages, leaving you open to get attacked more.
Yep.
And you can block, And you can do, there's a whole other trigger you use to do like a riposte where you deflect the blow and then immediately counterattack.
Yeah, that's your parry.
And that's it.
Yep.
And you get items you can use, so you can lob. The first boss you have to use a lot of fire.
I found with the quick buttons though, I'd always hit the wrong thing at the wrong time and end up taking a potion, my only potion, when I had full health. When I was actually trying to frantically block or duck or something. And that's the other trouble. Is to me it was a very random control set, which never helps. Having to pick up an alien set of controls for an alien set of concepts.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, are there like combos later on or special attacks that it sort of evolve the combat? Because at the moment it seems so basic.
No, I don't think there are.
I think that's the point. No. Because it's all about the timing and stuff and everything. Because things can take so much damage off you, and you can die quite so easily. If you get too involved in doing like combination attacks, you will just get set upon from behind. All it takes is like a swipe from a no-name NPC, and then that's it. You have to manage your stamina, it's minimalist, but yeah, I think that's the kind of weird appeal. As I was saying, it's kind of weird. It's why it's become a genre. Like we just say it was a Souls game or Souls-esque. It's almost like its own. Yeah, they've kind of become their own kind of folklore and subgenre in a weird way. I mean, having said that, I would love it if they did a remaster of Bloodborne.
So, just very quickly, Electronic First, Marcus, apparently a reputable shop, are doing a £35 PlayStation Network prepaid card for £29.79. Nice. So that, I think, covers the costs of Ghost of Tsushima and gives you a couple of quid.
Yeah, no, I'll look it up. I mean, I did that before. I had a couple of quid in my wallet before, which I grabbed a couple of bits from, I think, Shop 2, because I've got an account with them. But yeah, I'm always looking out for...
I had trouble buying anything off them.
Oh, I've found Shop 2. I've always been good.
Yeah. I've got Shop 2 and CD keys as a staple.
CD keys are great. Rock solid.
Yeah. Shop 2, my brother kind of turned me to, because he always gets his games, and they tend to send them out earlier. So even if pre-ordering, if you've pre-ordered a physical copy, you tend to get it like a day or two before.
Yeah, that used to happen to me, but it didn't happen with Watch Dogs. In fact, it arrived, I think, the day after release.
Yeah, but we have to remember, though, things are a bit squiffy at the moment, so...
Well, I've moved to Suffolk and things are a bit more laid back around here.
You don't want that game, he just wants to...
Yeah, I have used them before, but not for a while. One last thing about Demon's Souls that I just wanted to mention on here was that it was the penny dropping when I pulled the lever and it opened the door, so that I didn't have to walk all the way around that bit of the level again.
So hang on, what happened? So you pulled the lever, the door opened, and then the penny dropped, or you pulled the lever, the penny came down, and then the door went up?
No, the lever was called penny.
It was after the penny dropped as I walked out of the door and realised where the door went.
Yeah, exactly that. And you realised you'd fought far enough, and now you didn't need to fight through that fucking bit every time because you had made progress. Yes. Yeah. I do remember the first time I discovered that, and then I do remember going, oh, thank fuck, and then walking through that door and having my arse handed to me on a platter again. And then again and going, oh, actually, I'm going to try that route. And this giant fucking dragon turned up and turned me into a kebab. Toasted kebab.
Yeah.
And then I went,
does happen.
Oh, I remember Ratchet and Clank. That was a great game. I'm going to play that.
It's really hard when you've got other games that are much more accessible. This is why I thought, I think it's going to get to a point soon where that's the only game I have. Really? Well, no, it won't.
But it's not. It's not, is it, Rob? It really
there always will be something on something else. But no,
that's kind of that statement when you've got the telly on and you've got Sky and you've got Netflix and you've got Prime. You go, there's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got that, but you just can't be asked. I know. Even this week, it's been like, oh, do I really want to play that? Spider-Man's like so much more fun. But
I have the same issue with, I need to work today.
I just can't. Why does that even exist? Why do people give it 91%? It's that much fucking...
Yeah, but then you have to remember, it's things like sport games. For other people, sport games aren't even a thing. There's not registering.
I'll give you a different analogy.
FIFA. If you're not into football, No, go on.
Some people climb up mountains for fun.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Some people like to just go to the pub. Now, I'm very much a pub of those sides.
But
So
Will,
am I,
what if
tell me
the
about it.
pub was up a mountain?
It would make it more worth climbing the mountain. So, if it was difficult but fun at the end, I'd be up for it. But just the mountain, to beat the mountain and only to say, got to the top of the mountain, not got to the top of the mountain, had a cracking time with my mates, my beers. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne to me are just the mountain. I don't want to climb the mountain unless there is an incentive.
I think for you, it's like you get to the top of the mountain and then it flips and the mountain becomes like an icicle and then you just fall off. So even after climbing the mountain, it still isn't a reward. It's just more pain.
Yeah, I think it's taken these specific circumstances for me to even attempt one of these games.
Well, that's the thing.
again.
It's eye candy. You couldn't resist.
Well, and the launch of a new console
Yeah.
with not that many exclusive games on it, and me getting a new PC that I'm going to play everything else
You
on.
say that, and yet you still haven't played Bugsnax. That's an exclusive. What's wrong with you, Rob? Have you played Fall Guys yet? Fall Guys is amazing.
Honestly, I just keep forgetting.
It's a graphical masterpiece.
Have you heard about the other one? It's kind of like a cross between Fall Guys and Gang Beasts. I think it's like Animals or something like that, where you smack each other around. And it's another game that's come out. There seem to be more of these.
Yeah, but unless they get on something like PS Plus and
look
are
it
made
up.
just
I'll look it
available
up.
to a massive community, PS Plus makes and breaks games, in my opinion.
Yeah, true that.
See what it did for Rocket League.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, I think we've chewed this one up enough.
Yeah, so I'm guessing our next one will be our end of year extravaganza, where we talk about our favourite games. And my goodness, we've actually played some this year.
We actually have, yeah. I was thinking, I think I'm up to at least 10 now.
Party Animals, that's it. It's kind of like a spiritual successor for like Gang Beasts, and it's like it's like Fall Guys as well. You pick an animal and you're in an arena and you're basically the last one to survive, but you pick up weapons like nunchucks and knock each other out and stuff like that. And
that kind of sounds entertaining as a concept.
Cool. Yeah, I think we've got enough to do an actual top 5 this year.
Ooh.
I have.
Well, Marcus,
you're going to have to pull your finger out, Marcus.
Are you kidding me?
You've done a couple of new ones.
Top 5 of this year. I've played games this year. I'll finish them too, hopefully.
Did you finish Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No, not yet. It's what Rob was saying about a fine wine, not wanting it to end.
Yeah,
admittedly, no, I've taken my eye off the ball with the whole move.
I know what you're going to do. The next one's going to come out, and you'll make some vain effort to finish it before the new one comes out.
No, because the new one probably won't come out for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 years.
I must admit, it does feel like it could be forever.
Yeah.
It does feel like, or what's going to happen is we're not going to hear a peep, and then Sony will say, 3 months, it's coming out. Engine's built, stuff's built, we're just telling the story. We've already spun up most of it. Wouldn't surprise me if they could do an Ubisoft-esque, they get the first one, they get an Assassin's Creed game out on the new and revised engine approach, and they can spin one every year after that. I wonder if that might be what we see. And then, I've got a feel, at the moment, is it PlayStation? No, it's not. Yeah, it was PlayStation exclusive, wasn't it? Console exclusive.
What?
Final Fantasy VII Remake. It was PlayStation?
Yeah, I think it's Sony. I think it's PlayStation. But the problem is,
we're going to see it appear on the other platforms.
The annoying thing is, with this and Devil May Cry, I found that, when you play a game up until a point, and you get good at it, and then you stop, and then basically you're...
lose the muscle memory.
Yeah, I've realised I'm further into these games, and I've jumped back in, I'm like, holy shit, I have to relearn how to play these games. But it's at a much higher part in the game. So I'm not looking forward to jumping back in and finishing DMC, but I've just seen the special edition version with Virgil and the Horde mode, which with the PS5, and basically like the enemies are
that Virgil out of Thunderbird.
6 times the amount. Virgin Like Thunderbirds would be an interesting addition, but it's basically just like insane mode where the enemies are like fucking mental. But I don't know. Anyway.
Oh,
yeah. So we'll probably do some proper Game of the Year stuff. This is why I definitely will get that Ubisoft thing, because I want to have played at least enough out of Valhalla and Watch Dogs to know where they sit. You know.
Yeah. To understand. Yeah, we don't necessarily need to judge absolutes, because the games I've played this year have all been fairly beefy. Although trouble is, the games I played at the start of the year, because nothing came out until like June.
No,
if I recall
everything was
correctly.
on hold, wasn't it?
No, it took a long while for it to actually get going, but it finally did.
It started with The Last of Us 2, if I recall correctly. For me, it started with Final Fantasy, then Last of Us 2, and then I haven't had a problem with waiting for games since then.
Yeah.
No, well, the thing is, though, with stuff like Game Pass, I've actually gone back a little bit as well.
Oh, Wasteland 3, yeah. All sorts.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for next time.
Definitely. By which time we will have played Cyberpunk.
And we might even...
Which is a crazy thought.
Well, assuming the graphics cards get delivered to the right suppliers, and assuming Cyberpunk comes out.
Yeah, I know, it's not too late, is it? As much, even though they've got the PlayStation footage.
At the point of recording, it's 16 days to release.
Are you telling me that Cyberpunk? I really hope it does, because it'll be ridiculous. Could you imagine if by the time Cyberpunk comes out, they've gone, you know what, we've scrapped it. It's going to come out in 10 years' time, and it's going to be a VR headset that you literally jump into our world.
So, unfortunately, Cyberpunk 2077 was set last year.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Releases 2078.
It's a retro
game.
Explain
the joke, sorry.
That's the date it's coming out. Yeah. I've heard that.
Not wishing to labour the point, but
Cyberpunk 2077 is a retro game set 80 years ago.
What could have been?
The hazards of putting a year in the title of your game.
Well, it's the fact that we've passed the point of Blade Runner. That's the scary, but we're past RoboCop, we're past Blade Runner. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
I can't remember about Terminator, but I think we may be.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, Terminator was ages ago. That was like 97. Oh, no, that's Predator.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just checking up on my PC order. It's in production, ready to be shipped on the 30th of November.
When was Demolition Man?
Bullshit.
I think that was 2025 or something, wasn't it?
I think so. I actually put it on the other day and thought, Demolition Man, love that film. I watched that and I sat there about 10 minutes in. I went, shit, this is really, really, really bad.
Yes. Oh, that's unfortunate.
It really
I
is.
haven't thought about revisiting that.
Yeah, I might still do that. Because, you know...
by all means, go for it.
I never thought of it as a good film. I thought of it as a guilty sort of cheesy 80s movie.
I had this glossed over idea that actually it was a good film, but no, it was pure mid-90s cheese. Yeah, it was just bad. But it was bad in a fun way, but I was actually kind of expecting something to really enjoy.
That's a shame, because I was looking forward to... I was looking forward to
a plate of cheese, and you're looking for mature cheddar, and what you get is basically craft cheese.
Oh. See, I was looking forward to dressing like Simon Phoenix and saying, "What is your boggle?" and bouncing people's heads off perspex.
It's only memorable because
he's still laughing at the idea of that. That's really look, he's proper gone as well.
Oh dear. So
the only reason it's memorable is because we watched it at a very impressionable age.
I just want to see Marcus with the bleach job.
Yeah.
And with lights. Oh my god! I could actually, if I connect my lights to Alexa, I can actually have illuminate and deluminate.
I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah. I think that's probably for the best.
Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where me and Marcus talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam, Ash and Will talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet out or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard there, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, stay safe out there.
When I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck. I suck